Alrighty, welcome to Equator Studios. This is going to be the first tutorial in a series of several where we will be showing you how to implement LiDAR data into your next project. So, in this first tutorial, we will be going over the basics of the Equator platform, showing you how to use it, showing general map navigation, adding data, project creation, exporting, and some general use cases. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. And this is what we'll be making as the end product for this tutorial. This specific location was chosen for its versatility and its geography. There's a road to the north with a bridge and a river above it, along with several different plots of farmland that we can box out using different tools to showcase how we can individually customize each of them using the Equator platform to show different contouring, building outlines, roads, bridges, etc. Now, the Equator workspace and what you create in it is divided into three main sections. The first is your actual project file, shown here in the upper left. We are currently in the tutorial 1 demo space. Within a project file, you can have multiple different sites. These are the white boundaries that we see here. We have the bridge site here, shown down at the bottom, bridge. We have farm field 1, 2, and 3, along with site 1, encompassing all of them. Beneath the actual sites themselves, the sites are where you actually store the data. So we can see that the contours are located within farm field 3 here, as well as bridge separately, along with the road outline and building outlines are encompassed within each of their own respective sites. One layer down past that are the actual data layers themselves. For example, over here we have contours in farm field 3, that's a data layer. We have also roads, that's another data layer, and over all of it is the point cloud data layer, which highlights elevation and is shown within the main site, encompassing everything. Okay, so once you are logged into Equator, you should be brought to this sort of main page here. And now that we're here, we can talk a little bit about basic map navigation. So scrolling in and out controls zooming, obviously. So scrolling in zooms in, and then scrolling out zooms out. Left click is to pan across the map, and then right click is very important. This controls tilting. And so if you have an area like this that has differing elevation, holding right click can help you see that elevation. I guess a more extreme example can be shown here over in Colorado. Let's go to these mountains, and there we go. This will be especially useful when we start adding our point cloud data and visualizing it so that we can see the entirety of the 3D geometry and how to utilize it. So since we know our way around the map setup, we want to now create our first project so that we can start adding some LiDAR data to it. To do this, we're going to want to head over to the Projects tab on the left here. And one important thing to note is the open folder icon on the left of the project name. It indicates which project you actually are working on. So if we head over here to Test Project, we can see that the open folder icon switches to the test project. But for now, let's just create our first project by hitting the Add Project button at the top there, and we're going to type in tutorial 1.1 demo. We're going to leave that in metric here. Okay, so now you can see that the open folder icon is on our brand new project, indicating that it's the project that we're currently working on, which is perfect. So now I want to start adding some LiDAR data and some data layers, but to do that, I need to first find where I want my data to be generated. There's two main ways to do this. Firstly, either through the search option at the top here, or you can use the map navigation to actually search for it on your own. I think for now, though, we are going to be using the coordinates, although I'm pretty sure I can find this on my own. Let's figure it out here. Yep, here we go. So this is the site that we are going to be adding our LiDAR data to. As shown earlier, I'm going to pick this area for demonstration as it has plenty of good topographic data and variety to showcase. Alright, so now we can finally start adding to and customizing our site, and to do that we first need to add a new site. So going down here to the bottom left, we're going to click New Site. This is going to bring up this window here. This boundary indicates where the data is actually going to be generated. So inside of this white box here is where our data is going to sit. Now on the left we have the customization menu. This is actually blurred out right now and won't become unblurred until we zoom in far enough into our site, and we can see there it opens right up. We can see that there are a few presets. So there's default, CAD, report, and then presentation. A lot of different options for different exports, but I think for now we're going to stick with default, as well as keeping the site name just default there. and we can go ahead and click continue here. This is going to paste the boundaries onto the data plane here, and when we go ahead and add our data layers later, this is where they're going to show up within these 4 boundaries. Alrighty, so once you create your first boundary, you're going to be brought to the data menu here, or the data products tab on the left. But I think to get for a feel of things and just to get started, we're going to switch over to the layers tab beneath it. This is going to show you each of the layers that make up your site, starting with the Google Hybrid base layer and then moving down to each of your sites. And so we can see here, if we turn off the base layer, that disables it completely, and then clicking it again, clicking the eyeball icon, that re-enables it. Under site 1, we're going to go ahead and start by adding some data, and I think starting off simply, we're going to add some point cloud data, but we got to make sure that the point cloud data is applicable for our site, and in order to do that, we need to check the coverage map. So if we click the coverage map toggle down here, we can see that everything in bright blue is what is covered in our data sets that Equator has aggregated. So let's click add this product, and we can see the different data sets that Equator has grabbed in order for you to use it for your different projects. So we have Land Information Ontario and Natural Resources Canada. The rule of thumb here is to go with the highest quality data set in order for your point cloud to have the highest quality. But I think for now we're going to go with the Natural Resources Canada one because it's still pretty good while also being relatively fast. So we're going to click continue and then generate. It's also important to note here that if you are trying out Equator, you will get 1 site as part of your trial, and then after that, adding additional sites will require you to upgrade to a paid plan. So now that our data has been generated here, we can really go in and take a look at the detail that Equator is able to give us. We can see something as very specific as like a pool in a backyard, or something more broad like the elevation changes of a forest going down to a river. And I think now that we have this data, we're going to go ahead and start dividing it up into different sections here. To start off with, let's add another site at the bottom here and name this one Farm Field 1. We're going to use custom boundaries for this one, and we're going to mark it off going from this street on the left over to this fence line, and then back down to this street and all the way back up. I'm being very broad here with my points, but you can be as specific as you want with your own site details. But for this tutorial, I'm going to keep things sort of general here. Now that the boundary is established, we can actually start adding some data layers here. So I think we should start off with the building outlines here. Select the first data set and click generate. This is going to add in some building outlines to show us where exactly these houses are within this boundary here. So we can see that they're outlined in black and white. If we click on the actual data layer itself, this goes into the editing view, and we can change the fill color, the outline color, the thickness of the actual overlay, and the hatching scale, which is for different patterns. So for fill, I think I'm going to set it to blue, and then maybe with a red outline, make it something quite obvious. And I think that should be it for this site. One really cool thing to note about using the custom boundary tool instead of like a default specific boundary is that if you click on the line here, like let's say we go to the bottom here and we click in the middle and we want to add more detail, maybe want to include this section of property, well, we can just click the line and then drag outwards and then continue doing that to create an entirely new outline of this property, just to include that section. And if we update our building outlines here by redoing it, then we can just see that this new building outline is incorporating this newly added section. These building outlines in particular are very important because if you have something like a very large site and you need to outline where these structures are so that you don't run into these problems later, this is a very vital part of civil planning and urban engineering in action, and it's easily able to be visualized using the Equator platform. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a second property here by clicking new site once again. We're going to type in Farm Field 2 here. And let's use custom boundary once again and begin outlining this farm field right here. We're going to go down this side road here and then over and then all the way back up the fence line. There we go. I think for this one I'm going to use a combination of surface hillshade which will give us a flat view of everything and take out some of the noise of the trees on the property, like so. There we go. We can see that the data has sort of been flattened here, and we can really see the topography of the region well and just see that it's a relative flat plane, but we still need some of this detail back, and that's why I'm going to add this building outline once again so that we know where the actual properties lie right here on this side, and we can see that this is now looking a bit better. And here we can bring our point cloud back in and see that these are also overlaid on top of the point cloud. Now we can go ahead and add one more final site here. Let's name this one Farm Field 3, very original, and then click the custom boundary tool once again, and then outline this farm field like so, going down the fence line and then all the way back up. There we go. And for this site, I was thinking we can use the contours data layer. Click generate there, wait for it to do its thing, and watch the topography come in. Now the way contours works in Equator is that it pulls the same data used for point clouds but interprets it in a different way so that it formats it in the form of contours. We can really see these lines here showing the different slope elevations as it goes up. Similar to the colorations that we can see in the point cloud data, the contours sort of follow that map, whereas the hill gets more yellow, the contours sort of narrow in there. On top of this, we can add further data layers on top of it, including obviously building outlines, and if the property line were to go past the road, we would be able to highlight that, as we will soon see, using the roads data layer. But for now, I think contour does the job in showing us the different elevations on this property line, and we can really map different things such as watershed analysis, tree lines, and many different things that come with contour data and point cloud data with a property such as this one. Okay, lastly here, I think we're going to add one final site. We're going to use custom for this one, and we're going to name it bridge, because why not? And for the points, we are going to be doing from about here all the way back down to where we were, then all the way back up. There we go. For this one, let's use contours. We'll use Natural Resources Canada for this one, generate it. We'll also use a combination of building outlines. There we go. And then let's also add in some roads. And you can see once you get going here and get into the groove of adding these data layers, it becomes really easy to customize your site to its fullest potential and really understand the layout and the surroundings of the site that you're working with. So for example, in roads here, we can just turn up the thickness here, change the color so that it's something more obvious. And then you have this entire section laid out, and you know where some of these houses are, where if you were just looking at the point cloud data, these houses would be sort of hidden next to all of these this tree and debris here. You wouldn't be able to notice that oh, there's buildings there. There's this guy right here that you wouldn't have been able to spot. But having this outline here just really helps with highlighting that. And we can also even go further by highlighting the water bodies, especially the river down here, and differentiate the islands from the actual river itself, and really just gain a understanding of the layout. So if I go ahead and go to our bridge site and then add some data and then do water bodies, make sure it's on the bridge site and then click generate, and then in a second, yep, here we go, and we are able to differentiate some of the islands from the actual water. And if we turn off the point cloud data, you can see that matches up pretty well there. And here we go. Just one more thing before we wrap up here. If you want to download any of these data layers individually, whether that be point cloud or contours or building outlines or road outlines, you go here on the left and you will see this little download icon where you can actually just select it and click download. You have to specify the file format for whatever software you are exporting to, and then you also need to specify the coordinate system. It is very important that you specify the coordinate system, because depending on what software that you're using, you could have a different one, a different coordinate system for that software. So specifying it in Equator and then exporting that coordinate system to that software will make the entire process a bit more streamlined for you. So let's go through it, and if we click download, select a file format, and then just a basic coordinate system here, and then process it. And then this will create us a file that then goes straight to our downloads folder in a zip file, ready for us to use it. Just as long as you select the file format and coordinate system, you're good to go. And there you have it, your first project and site ready to go and export within the Equator Studios platform to whatever software you might need. This is the first tutorial in a series of several where we will be going over data layers, exporting to external softwares, report customization, and site customization. If that is something you would be interested in, please be sure to stay notified and check out previous tutorials to see how you can implement LiDAR data into your next project. Take care.